The milestones in club rewards this season, are easier to get because we've got 21 days to get to 1 million points instead of before we needed 6 million points in 28 days. So actually, if you've got 20 players in your team, you only need 2.5k rep a day, and that's before you count Clash. That said, I'm near the bottom of my club, and I have been for a while, so I need to grind some multiplayer, and I'm actually really motivated to play after this update. I'm really looking forward to these cars and trying to get all these new cars. And I'm feeling like having a ramble, so I'm just going to do Classic Series until I can't talk no more. I'm thinking of going through all my the stories of my interactions with police, and maybe starting with my 97 mile an hour in a 40 speeding ticket. It was a August bank holiday. I can't remember the year, probably 2012 or 2013, and it was the Sunday in the August bank holiday, and it was such a nice day, and it was really warm. I thought I'd take my car out and check it works because I don't drive my car very much. And I'm going to fill it up with petrol, and I've gone to Syon Park, and I'm sat at a traffic light. And it's such a peaceful day, the roads are completely empty, and then someone pulls up next to me and just starts taunting me that I'm in a homo's car because I drive an MX-5, and he's in a Golf. And then I just say, I make him think that I think his car's a Punto, and that really pissed him off. And then it just made me drive away from that traffic light a bit faster than I should have. And he was trying to... we weren't racing, but he was trying to get past me, and I'd driven away quickly. And what I didn't know, and I've driven down this road a lot, it was completely empty apart from the guy behind me trying to catch up. And it's 4 or 5 lanes wide, but it's got a 40 speed limit because it's one of the London approach roads. Even though you're going out of London, it's the A4 near Syon Park. And so I'm in my MX-5, and I just floor it. And in a very short distance, I've gone over 100 miles an hour. And then I noticed there's a cop in a bush with a radar gun. And my heart sank. And then I tried to slow down, but you couldn't slow down. I was going so fast. And then obviously they pull me over. And I get told that was the fastest he's ever witnessed on that road in 27 years or something. It's the fastest probably ever recorded on that road. And the 97 that he charged me with was actually the low reading. And he was very nice to me because if there'd been a single other car on the road, he would have charged me with dangerous driving, and then I would have faced prison. But he just gave me a speeding offence that I had to go to court for. And I went to court, and I got the largest possible fine you can get in England for speeding, which is £1,000 plus court costs. I nearly lost my licence, but I pled a case that my car is more useful to me than most people because of a disability, which is true. But I didn't have validation of that at that stage in my life. I just knew it myself. I didn't have any doctor validation. Even in court, I said, I've got a letter from my doctor to explain why the car's necessary for my life, but my doctor wouldn't say much in the letter. All he would say is he's come to me and he's got problems with his leg, which wasn't even the reason I needed it's not even the reason I need my car now. But the judge would just took the plead, took the request to plead it down for the fact that I need my car, and then just gave me the largest fine possible. And when I said fine's a bit steep, and he just really aggressively said to me, "Do you want me to revisit the idea of a ban?" And I was like, "No, sir, I'll pay it today." But I was waiting 3 months for that court case as well, and I thought I was going to lose my license. It was really horrible, and that's not That's not my worst arrest. My first interaction with the police was when I was 13 and I got arrested by armed police in Paddington. It was my first day in London with friends. It was like a guy called Marius had invited me to Spittler's house, and I had just joined. It was the end of my first year at secondary school, so it's probably 1996. And I'd never been to London with friends. I'd been on school trips to the Science Museum or the National History Museum or to see the Palace or something. But I'd never been to London as such. And I turn up probably quite late in the day because just going to spend the night there. And we're at Spittler's flat in Bayswater. And his dad, Pierre, says, we can't speak much English, but he said something. We needed to charge up the electricity key. I didn't know what an electricity key was then. I'm middle class. Like, we have meters. You don't go and put a key on. But Spittler was in this private school as well. It was strange, but his parents were peculiar. They were either super rich and living like paupers, or they were spending everything on his education because he needed it, because he was madder than me. You know? So what happened? We went out to charge up the electricity key, which involves walking to a petrol station, and it's late in the summer. It's probably August, and actually I don't know. It's probably August, and we walk out of Bayswater, walking west from main Bayswater station down towards Westbourne Park. And we never really got that close to a petrol station before Spittler starts running around the street throwing French bangers, like lighting French bangers and throwing them down into people's basements. And then to make matters even more exciting, he decided to pull out a BB gun and run around throwing the French bangers, pretending he was armed police, holding a BB gun. And then we're like, Alex, put that away. He puts it away, and then we try and walk to the petrol station to charge the electricity key. And as we're walking further, this trip seemingly is taking forever. It's like the middle of the night now. And it's got quite quiet, and we noticed the police have blocked off all the roads. And the three of us walk up to one of the police cars and go, what's going on? And he's like, oh, none of your business, go home. And they've sealed off the whole area. And then we charge up the key, and then we start walking home. And then I'm 13 years old. It's 1996. It's my first time in London, and we're walking down the pavement, and this police car is on the other side of the road, and they're just staring at me. And I just wave to them because he's staring at me, and you say hello to people that are looking at you. And then they just run out the car and throw us against the wall. And then we're being searched. So when we turn around, there's like 15 vans, people with like Hetler Koch MP5s pointed at us. Like, what the hell's going on? And it's 2 a.m. in the morning now, I think. Oh, no, sorry. When we were at the police station and my dad came to pick me up, it's probably 2 a.m. then. When the police told my dad at the station what we had done, my brother had come with him to keep him awake in the car. My brother just started laughing, and then the policeman went nuts at him in the thing. I technically didn't get arrested that time. I got to sit in the front of the car. It was only Alex that got arrested because he had the BB gun, and then he just got a warning. Oh, I'm messing this lap up. Am I in Silver League now and racing with a Taken still? Stupid. That was my first time out, like on a social event as a teenager. It's all these sort of things. When you combine all the events in my life, that's what makes my personality, like, and who I am. And none of them on their own are that bad. But you just, every time you do it, like then, what in 2017, not 2017, maybe 2016, my girlfriend decides it'd be nice to take me to the theatre for my birthday. And we go and watch the play that goes wrong, which is a play I really want to see, like, but I know I don't really want to go into a theatre because people cough and it's really confined, and I get anxious in the atmosphere, and this well before COVID. But she buys the tickets, and it's my birthday. So it's my birthday. My birthday. I don't want to do stuff which involves risk on my birthday. I want to be safe, and not have a bad day. But right, we're going to the theatre, and then she didn't understand that you can't be late to the theatre. They don't let you in if you're late, and she was being she was dragging her heels in terms of coming, like, let's leave, because the one thing I don't want to be is late to the theatre and then miss the first half waiting outside, being told you're not allowed in. And when we get there, and yeah, it's really packed, the seats are really tight together, people are coughing everywhere. I really enjoyed the play, it's hilarious, it's absolutely hilarious, but then I'm really, like, negatively buzzing from the atmosphere that I've been in. And then we start coming home and have to go on the tube and then get off the tube and look at litter, etc. And the sort of anger's building. And then there was this, at the time, there was this newsagent that had changed the doors on its building. They'd put a door on the side of the building which opened onto the pavement of our street and blocked the entire pavement. And they shouldn't have done that. It was done without planning permission. And for years I was trying to ask them to turn it round, to not open it across the pavement. They knew they weren't allowed to open it across the pavement. And when I got back from the cinema, it was open. Sorry, when we got back from the theatre, it was open wide across the pavement. And my brain told me the right thing to do is to kick that door. So I kicked it and it bounced closed, but sort of smashed when I kicked it, and it scared. This was like a little kiosk. It's a door to one tiny kiosk cellar. And when I kicked it, it opened. It then slammed back and closed and scared the woman, who was the wife of the other guy who knew me because I kept moaning about this door. And then he runs down the street to attack me for upsetting his wife because he's got to honour his wife. And then the police are called, and that was my birthday. I didn't get in trouble because the guy looked madder than me. So when the police came out, I said, sorry about the door. I explained the year-long politics of it really briefly, and the other guy was just going nuts, wanting to punch the crap out of me. So they just let me go. And I knew the officers. Oh. There's a very long list of these events. Like, I'm probably not, if I tried to say them all, I will be here for hours. So what happened? I said I didn't get let into America once. Why did that happen? So I'd been going back and forth from Boston and the UK because my dad was in Boston at the time. And for years before that, I'd been going back and forth from Texas and the UK. And again, I didn't know I was brown when I started going back and forth. I really thought I was white. Going through American customs started to teach me that other people don't perceive me as white. And there was one time I took a flight, this last flight that I took, to go back to Boston just to paint my dad's house for him because he couldn't be bothered to paint it. So I was flying there just to do him a favour and paint the interior of his house. I'd just been there 3 weeks previous, and I had to get a plane. He always bought me the cheap flights when he had to buy them himself, and so I had to get a connecting flight at Michigan. And when I got off the plane at Michigan, me and one other guy, the guy I had been sat next to on the plane, the only Muslim on the plane, me and him got pulled over and searched. And the search was really degrading. Like, it was, they were holding up my underwear to lights, etc., like in front of everyone, and telling me I had to stand a certain way. And I just wanted to sit down. They were like, no, you must stand on that spot and wait, as they hold everything up and humiliate and degrade you. And then at the end of it, they sort of give you an envelope to say, if you want to complain, you can fill out this free post envelope. And I made the worst joke possible. You know the thing you're not meant to say in an airport? I made a joke involving that word, and it was a joke. It wasn't. It was about a free post envelope and how they're giving free post envelopes to people that might want to send things to them, and they've told them exactly where to send it, and here's a free post. So then I was then interviewed by the FBI and Customs for 3 hours, asked if I was associated with any terror organization, and my response to that question was, yes, my dad lives in America. Then they were like, what do you think of the Queen? What do you think of George Bush? What do you think of Tony Blair? And I was just being grilled for my political views, and I was, 21 years old. It was I don't know what the year was, like, no, I was 23 probably. It was after September the 11th, because that was, everything had changed. So it was 3 years after that probably, and it was my first moment of awakening, realizing how much the world has changed, because the police and these people no longer work for me. I'm no longer this white Tory boy that I grew up as, that thought the police worked for us, because in private school the police aren't involved in anything. If anything happens in the school, you deal with it yourself. Like the police just come as servants when visitors come, like they're bodyguards to royalty. They do traffic crossings and stuff. Like, it was like I wasn't a Londoner. I hadn't seen how the Met Police operate or anything like that. And anyway, where was I? Yeah, I'm being interviewed by the FBI and Customs, and I'm 24 maybe, no, 23, and it's a few years after September the 11th. I could not, and I think people remember how much people disagreed with the Iraq War back at that time. Like, and I wasn't someone that believed in this this sudden war on terror that had been caused by 9/11, and the only way to get into America now for me at that moment in time, because I was now being into, but when they looked at my laptop in the search, I take photographs. I think people have looked at my Instagram. I sell pictures as well. I've got pictures on Shutterstock. I've got pictures on Alamy. I like taking pictures of police. I like taking pictures of buildings. And when they saw my laptop full of pictures of buildings and police, it really made them paranoid. And so this interview, it wasn't a pleasant interview. There were 3 people there. I don't know who the other person was. And they would just ask a question and then just be quiet for like 3 minutes and then ask the next question. Took forever. And then at the end we've got the easy way or the hard way. And they'd sort of drag me to a machine to take my fingerprints and biometric me, and then stick me on a plane and send me back to the UK. And at that point, my dad's probably waiting for me in Boston airport, and they wouldn't let me call him either. So I had to call him from the $17 a minute phone on the plane to tell him, don't come and get me, Dad. They didn't let me in. Sorry. That was too late. That wasn't a great day. I couldn't, 20-year-old men can't renounce their politics just to get a ticket to a club. It's like, and then we made an agreement that if I don't agree with their politics, then they should be allowed not to let me in. And I went, yeah, you're right. I think Bush is a puppet. I disagree with the war that you're currently engaged in. And they were like, yep, so off you go, mate. One of my first jobs was working in a pawnbroker's. It was called Cash Express. I worked in the back office. I was employee number 1, and I did loans on people's cars. So you basically buy they give you their car. you give them money, they can't pay the loan back, you take their car off them, but you take ownership of the car the moment they take the loan out. So it's really dodgy practice basically. But it was the only job I could get, and they taught me how to then manage customer systems and make databases. What was I doing there? But when I worked at this place, the we had a I don't know how to say it, a clientele that didn't appreciate the police's presence as such. And I remember there was one time when the police were standing outside the door that they were stopping customers coming up from shop, and I just asked them to move, and they got irritated by that because it was putting off custom. And then another time, Trading Standards came into the shop and started conversating loads of goods because we had like some circular saw where the blade went the wrong way round. So we're pawnbroker, like someone comes in, gives you something of theirs, you sell it to someone else, but we think we've checked the stuff, but there was like a circular saw that where the blade spanned the wrong way round. That's a pretty bad thing, and so Trading Standards had been made aware of us, and they came and they confiscated everything. And when they confiscated everything, that sort of scared all the customers away for a day. And again, I said they don't have to. They came with the police, and the police didn't really need to be there. They could have all the stuff. And I somehow annoyed a couple of police officers that day. And then weeks later, the two police officers that I annoyed, just forcibly handcuffed me and slammed me against the wall in Ealing, just to search me and dominate me, just because I had got one over on them that day. I can't tell the stories about the raids yet. They're too sensitive. It's hard to explain everything. And I get upset because I say I was illegally raided by police. There was a warrant to raid, and it said use force if necessary. Now, the word to use force to force entry into someone's home if necessary. If a judge writes if necessary in the warrant, then surely they have to knock first, and they didn't. They just 5 a.m. in the morning battering ram through the door. I think I'm on one of those Bravo Frontline Cops programs. They come through the door at 5 a.m. in the morning. I'm naked in my bed. They rip me out my bed, handcuff me to my chair. They've all got cameras on their heads, but I thought that was just for internal recording. It turns out it was a TV crew. There was a TV crew waiting outside my house, and when I got taken out the house later, a couple of hours later, I did say to them, don't show my face. I should have said, who the hell are you and what are you doing filming this? They only broke down my door to make it look good for the TV show. They needed someone to raid because they wanted to show it on a TV show. I'm going to get KD'd. I wasn't paying attention at the beginning of that race. It's going to be hard to recover from that. Am I in Gold League now as well? Did I not notice myself go up another league? I think I'm in gold now, aren't I? Or just really badly at the beginning of that. KD someone. Number 4. KD number 3. Five and 4. Fight. Ah. I was in Gold League. Right, let's use the Hurricane. Yeah, to go into detail on those other ones, it's a whole story because I have to be really careful what I say. I got my punishments, but there wasn't anything that serious. I think my total punishment after it being put off for 2 years was a £70 fine. That was the result of 3 raids of my house, a £70 fine. Such a serious event, wasn't it? Merited ruining my life. Like if you hear stories from people that have been burgled about how they can't live properly in their home afterwards because they've had their sort of space invaded. Imagine if that's the police and they're allowed to do it and no one will care that they even did it. I just used the 599 again in Gold League. I got people right on my tail. Oh, he bumped me. He's really taking it. Oh! Oh, that lost me all the places. Right, now let's use a Gold League car and have some breakfast before the bin men get here. Which is now like 10 like it took me a year to get them from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., another year to get them from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m., and then one conversation to get them to with the friend and neighbor to get them to completely rechange their schedule so that now they just don't come first thing in the morning. What blew my mind is when they changed their time from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m., they're still the 8 a.m. job that they were doing here now was still the first thing they did in the day. So basically that other 2 hours, there was nothing else in the universe they were allowed to do except come terrorize my house. It was like when I first was suggesting, I was saying, go do something else first. Go do some commercial rubbish. Go do one of the main roads. It's like they're not allowed to do anything. They were just coming here and trying to get away with it. Oh. And the police, like twice I had them on banging on my door with tasers because of this event, because of me shouting from the street at everyone, at the universe. I nearly wanted to get myself committed, because I thought then I'd get some sleep, you know. And now today I still get up at 5 because I'm absolutely terrified of oversleeping and sleeping through the noise of them coming. And today they'll probably come anytime from 9:30 to 10:30. But if they come at 8:30, because it's a bank holiday, if they come at 8:30 and I witness it, it will destroy me. The time's now 7 a.m. So I'm going to get out the house at 8 a.m., go chill in the park until 10, and then come back. And then if I witness them, they're coming after 10. If I don't witness them, I can tell myself, oh, they came at 9:30. If I see them at 8 or 7, it's a sign that they're creeping back. And that in winter, they'll just come at 6 when they think it's dark and no one's looking. And I know how crazy it sounds, because where I grew up, bin trucks aren't a problem. Everywhere else in the world I've been, the noise of a bin truck is not a problem. But what they do here, like the 30-minute job and the lifting bins up 20 feet in the air, massive iron Paladin bins, and slamming them down. And we've got big iron doors on the back of our building, and our bins are kept in the actual building, so they slam the doors. It's just a horrific event every morning. And the fact that it's nearly every morning. So that what I'm describing there is twice a week at the moment. And then we've got recycling, and then there's another collection for the houses. It's just endless. And then there's always an extra collection, and there's paid commercial collection. So when someone wants to dump 2 tons of carpet outside their house because they've just recarpet, they call the council and they pay them to take that away. Now that truck will then come at 6 o'clock in the morning and say, oh, well, we had a special job to do. No, you're taking money to collect rubber. You're running a business. You don't get to abuse all of the noise laws and regulations, especially when you're just running a commercial operation to get revenue. I quite enjoyed getting some of those things into a story. And the fact that I'm starting to talk about the roads, because they're troubling to me. They were 2007, 8 and 9, I think. Thank you. Guys on my tail though, I've got to be careful now. He's going to hit me. Where did he go? He left the track and then he disconnected in frustration because he can't beat him. He still would have been like second. He just, no, I'm not losing to madathanu. That does happen a lot. I think the next story I tell should be the times I thought I was going to be murdered in Africa. And I'll leave that for another day. Good luck, guys. I'm madder than you.